October 2023. Porto Alegre, Brazil. A city council votes 36-0. Unanimous approval. What none of them knew, the law they'd just passed had been written entirely by ChatGPT. The councilman who introduced it later admitted something uncomfortable. If he'd told them beforehand, he doesn't think it would have passed at all. Here's exactly what happened, according to reporting from the Associated Press. City Councilman Ramiro Rosario had an idea for a small, specific ordinance, stopping the city from charging residents to replace a water meter that had been stolen, essentially protecting theft victims from being billed twice for someone else's crime. Instead of drafting the legal language himself, or through his usual staff, Rosario asked ChatGPT to write the actual bill text. According to reporting from the Wall Street Journal, the tool produced a full constitutional bill proposal in about 15 seconds, a task that would normally take a team of 6 people several days. He submitted it to the council exactly as written, without a single edit. And he told nobody. The council debated the substance of the bill, the actual water meter policy, and unanimously approved it, 36-0. It officially went into effect on November 23, 2023. 6 days later, Rosario revealed the truth publicly on social media that the entire text had been generated by ChatGPT. His own explanation for staying silent was direct. If I had revealed it before, the proposal certainly wouldn't even have been taken to a vote. In his view, telling the truth up front would have doomed a policy he believed was genuinely good for the city, purely because of how it was written, not what it actually did. The reaction, once the reveal happened, split almost immediately. Hamilton Sossmeier, the council's own president, first learned about it when Rosario publicly discussed the achievement online. His initial reaction, reported by multiple outlets, called it a dangerous precedent. Other council members expressed similar discomfort, having unknowingly voted on the country's first piece of AI-authored legislation without any say in that decision at all. But Sossmeier's position shifted within days. After reading more about it, he told reporters, "I started to read more in depth and saw that, unfortunately or fortunately, this is going to be a trend. From dangerous precedent to inevitable trend in less than a week." Underneath the specific Brazilian story sits a much bigger, unresolved question that this case forced into the open for the first time. If an elected representative uses an AI to draft the actual legal text of a law, and that representative reviews and formally submits it under their own name, is that meaningfully different from using a human legislative aid to do the same thing? Rosario's own defense leaned on exactly that comparison. The idea, the policy goal, and the political decision to pursue it all came from him. ChatGPT was the tool that turned that intention into precise legal language, arguably the same role a staff attorney would normally play. The harder question is the one this case couldn't fully answer. What happens the day a lawmaker doesn't disclose it, and nobody ever finds out? Rosario's use only became public because he chose to reveal it himself, for what reads partly as genuine transparency and partly as taking credit for a novel achievement. Nothing about the process would have surfaced it otherwise. No disclosure requirement existed. No policy required him to say anything at all. And there's a technical risk sitting quietly underneath all of this, one that has nothing to do with transparency. Large language models like ChatGPT are known to occasionally generate plausible-sounding but factually incorrect information, a phenomenon researchers call hallucination. In this specific case, the bill's language happened to hold up, and it passed a full legislative debate and vote. But nothing about the process guaranteed that outcome. A subtly incorrect legal citation or a fabricated reference to an existing law that doesn't actually exist could conceivably have made it into binding legislation the exact same way if nobody happened to catch it during review. Porto Alegre's water meter ordinance is a mundane, uncontroversial piece of municipal policy. That's almost exactly why this case matters. Nobody is arguing the law itself was bad. The actual unresolved question is what happens the next time this occurs, on a piece of legislation people passionately disagree about, written by a tool that can be wrong, submitted by someone with every incentive not to mention how it was made. Brazil didn't answer that question. It just proved, for the first time on record, that the question was no longer hypothetical. If that changes how you think about the phrase, "Who actually wrote this law?" that's exactly the right reaction to have. Subscribe for more deep dives into the moments where AI quietly crossed into places nobody expected it yet. And tell me in the comments, should lawmakers be required to disclose when AI wrote the legislation they're voting on?